Hello and welcome to Tumbleweeds and TV Cowboys. My name is Hunter. In this podcast, I'll be joined by a different guest each week to discuss a classic Western movie or TV show. I've been a fan of classic Westerns for as long as I can remember, and in recent years, they've become very nostalgic for me. I love the aesthetic, the tropes, and I love seeing different filmmakers' takes on them. At their best, they're incredibly entertaining, rewatchable, and some of my all-time favorite movies are Westerns. We'll mostly focus on Western movies made in Hollywood, but we'll also be covering spaghetti Westerns, and one thing I'm very excited to get into are Western TV shows. I've got some amazing guests coming on the show, film professors, historians, and podcasters. And Tumbleweeds and TV Cowboys is part of the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network, and many guests on the show will be from other shows on the network. Thanks for listening.
Have you ever wanted to dive deeper into the horror movies you love? Beyond the Blood is a horror podcast for fans who want more than just surface-level screams. We do deep dives into the movies that shaped us, digging into director commentaries, behind-the-scenes stories, deleted scenes, and the special features that most people skip. Each episode is a love letter to the genre. We break down how these films were made, the creative risks that paid off or didn't, and the lasting impact they've had on the genre as a whole. From 70s slashers to modern nightmares, we celebrate the craft, chaos, and characters that keep us coming back. If you're the kind of fan who rewatches movies with the commentary on, or you simply grew up in the video store horror aisle, the Beyond the Blood podcast was made for you. New episodes every single week. Subscribe, and let's dig deep. Welcome to the Beyond the Blood podcast.
We're in Way Media.
Welcome back to Midnight Viewing, the horror anthology podcast, where this season we're taking a look at George A. Romero's 1980s series, Tales from the Darkside. Sharing the Midnight View with me are the projection booth's Mike White.
I am very lazy, and that will cost me a lot of money.
True. And the Culture Cast, Chris Dashu.
I don't know about the bitterest pill, but I have heard of a jagged little pill.
Tonight, we are taking a look at two episodes from Season 3. Those are The Bitterest Pill and Florence Bravo. The Bitterest Pill is Season 3, Episode number 3, originally aired on October the 12th, 1986. This was written by Michael Cube McDowell and Julie Selbo, based on a short story by Frederick Pohl, and directed by Brian Michael Stoller. This one stars Mark Blankfield, Joe Carafalo, Catherine Banizone, and Jason Horst as Jonathan. It's about a mad chemist and former flame who reappears in the lives of a couple who've recently won the lottery with a promise of not just fortune, but world domination. It is a bit convoluted. What'd you think of it, Mike?
A bit. Yeah. I really like Mark Blankfield. I kind of grew up with him in different things. I was just recently watching, what was the one he did? Frankenstein General Hospital or something.
Oh, yeah. In 88, yeah.
Oh, it's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. And I'm just like, how did they make comedies like this in the past? And just know, they had to know they were dogs, right?
Yeah, and what a weird bookend to Young Doctors in Love at the beginning of the decade, the Gary Still film.
Well, and then Jekyll and Hyde together again in there as well. So, yeah, gosh. Yeah, he's a very special taste. He's completely unhinged in this episode, which is absolutely fine. I really like Frederick Pohl, and I think I'd like to go back and track down the original short story. I will admit that when I first started watching this episode, I thought the father was Dan Castellaneta, Homer Simpson, and I thought the mom, for a hot second, was Adrienne Barbeau. Her profile looked almost exactly like that. And I was like, oh, I am in for a treat. Oh, this is going to be great. Yeah, not to offend the actors, but the caliber that they are is pretty much the caliber of the episode. And that shit-eating kid, I didn't get it. The whole thing of, okay, we won the lottery. First, I thought that was going to be a dream or something just because of the way how odd it is. And then they get into things and I'm like, no, I guess that was a real thing. I guess they're so rich they need a bodyguard now, live in some big estate. But yeah, and then this dude shows up and just starts acting crazy. And the longer he's on screen, the crazier he gets. And I wasn't here for it. I just wasn't able to connect with this episode. Chris, were you able to connect with the episode?
Oh, God. I wish somebody would have connected with a right hook to my fucking temple so I didn't have to watch this episode. Good Lord. The actor who plays Tinker was just... Oh, the way William Hickey was chewing scenery in the last episode we talked about, or the last two episodes we talked about, this was just insanity bullshit. Like, just what the fuck was it? Father Malone, was it? No, it was, I guess, the three of us. We were talking about that weird episode. One of these anthology shows where they were like in a studio and all of a sudden the noises started existing in the studio and like aliens showed up and shit.
Twilight 785. That was it was an old radio drama going on, and there was a curse on the theater, and everything they described appeared.
Yeah, it reminded me of that, where all of a sudden the guy is just in the house. He starts making noises and screaming and just, fine. You know what? I get that there's the idea at the center of this is, oh, they have this kooky friend who has this whole opportunity that they could take advantage of. And if they don't, they're going to miss out on an opportunity. And then it turns out that the kid eats it and the kid's super smart now. Why is the whole payoff of this fucking episode like 2 minutes long?
Well,
so strange.
And that the kid seems to be punishing the parents and keeping the prisoner?
Yeah, because they kept him prisoner. That was the one thing I was like, okay, I get this part. I understood what they were getting at only in as much as like they were leaving him locked in his room. And so at the end of the episode, he's like, well, I'm going to lock you in your room. And it's okay. Sure. But that seems illegal. And I don't know if you could do that.
He's got money,
me personally, isn't this Limitless? Did you guys ever see that movie with Bradley Cooper? Isn't it just this?
No, but I saw the TV series that was based on it.
Okay, but the same thing, right?
No, you're totally right. You're absolutely right as far as the power that unlocks this. The kid now seems very, very rich.
Yeah, well, he's an asshole.
But he cannot afford any sort of cover art for his book.
Thank you for pointing that out. That looks like he's being held hostage. It looks like a ransom note.
It's so terrible.
Yeah, production.
Best-selling New York Times book, The Bitterest Pill. Not with that cover, it's not.
No.
He bought every copy. That's what was happening.
Oh, okay. I've heard about that happening before.
My goodness, The Bitterest Pill. Halfway down my notes, halfway through the episode, I did write, Mark Blankfield is an acquired taste.
Mm-hmm.
I'm on your side with that, Mike. I remember him being in everything when we were kids. Like, you couldn't turn around and not see him. Not only the ones we mentioned, but like The Incredible Shrinking Woman. I thought he was fucking hilarious in that. You mentioned Jekyll and Hyde together again. There's a moment in that film where he's supposed to be doing an organ transplant, and he turns into Mr. Hyde, and he looks at the tray of organs, and he goes, "Oh, cuts," which just lives in my brain. So Mark Blankfield. I tried looking him up more than just his credits, because I also remember him from Fridays and ABC's attempt at on Saturday Night Live. He was one of the cast on that. But like
back when, wasn't Michael Richards on that as well?
He sure was, and Larry David was one of the writers at that.
Oh fuck yeah! I think I actually watched a lot of episodes of that. I don't know why, because nothing sticks with me. It's like there are bits from SNL from the same period of time that I can still quote, but Fridays, nothing's there from it.
Because there were no reruns of Fridays, so it became disposable. But all the SNL stuff got repackaged and reshown to us over and over again. Yeah, I wish I could have found out more about him. I've always really liked him as a performer, and he's doing his thing here. I know, Chris, it's a bit much. It is a bit all Jim Carrey or some sort of French
Whoa.
comedian.
Jim Carrey. Hey, buddy.
Pretty similar.
Oh, if there was no redeeming value to Jim Carrey.
I think Jim Carrey would have done the same shit in here. None of it also would have been funny because the episode is not.
Agreed.
They're not supposed to be doing comedy here on Tales from the Darkside. What's making me laugh on this show is the fact that the sister is going to drown the little girl like they did in the previous episode. That's the funny. This as bad as the episode is, though, it does echo the themes I've noticed have emerged on the show. Every season, we're going to get a few episodes where they begin with a chaotic home environment. The show definitely seems hell-bent on putting a hammer to the 50s nuclear family idea more than any anthology show we've seen, including Twilight Zone, which was running concurrently with this. Also, emasculation. There's a whole lot of emasculation on this show. Like here, it isn't just this crazy chemist from their past shows up. He's the guy who tried to steal his wife away on the night of their marriage.
Oh, yeah.
Weird dynamic to throw in all of a sudden.
He's a really smart guy, though.
Smacks her ass and stuff when she's crawling across him. I'm like, oh, okay.
And by the way, she is crawling across him. I'm like, look out there, hubby.
Yeah. With that guy, nobody's very redeemable in this, but I think the husband's the worst character.
He is a Johnny Bag of Donuts. He's just a stretched out, weird, shouty sort of a guy. But the ending, I love the ending, except I wanted to have gotten there. I wanted to have earned that. I wanted that kid to have been treated poorly and was getting a revenge on them. Or it just came out of nowhere and he's now lording over them. And Darkside can be just fine with an out of the blue, now you're all fucked ending as far as I'm concerned. But they were going for a comeuppance here. And locking your kid in his room for an hour while there's a lunatic downstairs is probably not the worst thing ever. I imagine that kid had plenty of toys while they were wealthy. Why did they stay in that house?
Yeah, no, good question.
They stayed in a tiny 2-bedroom bungalow in Pasadena. What? They were millionaires. They won the lottery in the opening. This is a fucking weird episode. I wish they had pulled it out, honestly, because I'm into how chaotic it is and how firing in every direction it goes. It just can't pull it together.
No, it's too much. I think it's just too much. Too much all at once, and they don't do enough to get it there. And then the ending just... I'm so disappointed because the ending, I like the idea, but it logistically makes no fucking sense.
No,
None.
They're saying that the kid is so fucking brilliant now because he took the pills instead of the father. Then he's figured out a legal loophole to become his parents' guardians. We're just supposed to believe that he's the smartest thing on earth now. And like whatever he wants, he's going to get. That's what Blankfield kept yelling about. It's not even about the money. It's the power. You're going to have real power with this.
Right.
And I wish that half the episode had been the kid after he takes the pill. And just like, all right, what's his machinations? How does he do this? I solve this. I'm going to maybe be a real piece of shit. Like, I know that most millionaires and billionaires really are very, very nice people. They want to help out people. They donate almost all of their money to worthy causes and things. I really want billionaires to like me because I like them so much. But the thing is, show me what a piece of shit this kid is. He's like, oh, I discovered the cure for cancer, but the pharmaceutical companies are paying me more than it would be worth for me to release that. So I'm making money that way. Or I discovered how to make cars run on water, but now the automotive companies are paying me more than it would be worth for me to release it. So he just like starts making all of his money through being a real piece of shit human being. I would love that. I mean, that seems like a great thing to explore.
It's such a shame if that were happening in real life and not fiction.
I know. Right now, I know that like the billionaires are here to help us. So that's great. I'm sure once Hollywood is done smoldering, they're just going to pour all kinds of money into that whole thing. That'll be fantastic.
Here are some things I liked in the episode. Mark Blankfield takes up some wind-up sneaker toys.
Yes.
Just
sure does.
Just out of the blue. I love that. I had friends who constantly had that shit in their pockets. For some reason, the 80s was the decade of the wind-up toys.
I think we should bring that back. Why not?
Good. You know what? Just
Fucking
pop one out
weird
of
shit.
well, every once in a while, a little robot running across the that's fun.
People be like, who's that cool guy over there? Who is that genuinely cool guy? Mike's grabbing a toy right now as we speak.
Yeah, it's a little hopping vampire. He just goes around and hops. So he's not going to do it now.
Oh, and
he has hop performance anxiety.
It's a Chinese hopping vampire.
Yes, it is. Once I saw one of these, I said, I have to get it. Oh.
You know what I really want? One of those Godzilla wind-up toys where it sparks out of its mouth. You remember those?
I had one of those as a kid, yeah.
Those are so fucking cool.
You
Not
guys
teeth.
can't see this, but it's very cool.
Not teeth, not little sneakers. I'd like something more age appropriate as opposed to something that a child would have, Mark Blankfield.
Here's another thing I like. When he's introduced, he refers to his former girlfriend as 20% body fat, 80% lean and mean tissue cuddles. I like that description. Also, when the husband has finally thrown out Mark Blankfield and is directing his anger at the wife, he says that she's dressed like a dance hall floozy. And then he takes it back and he says, oh, I didn't mean that. And all I can say to that is, if you call somebody a dance hall floozy, you fucking mean it.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. Didn't know we needed to bring Wang Chung into this, but okay.
The only other good thing is one of the musical beds they had going in the background was a harpsichord, which I always love when they throw in a modern setting. It just makes everything feel a bit off. Other than that, I do not recommend this one all that much. Other than I like the concept of the ending.
Yes, the concept was good. The execution, not so good.
Yeah.
Not great. On to season 2, episode 4. This is Florence Bravo. It aired originally on October the 19th, 1986. Written by Edith Swenson, everybody's favorite. Directed by John Lewis. This one stars Laurie Cardilli, David Hayward, Carol Levy, and Laren Klein as Florence Bravo. She's currently a voice in Red Dead Redemption. This is about an emotionally unstable wife who fears her husband is cheating, and the ghost in their newly purchased home isn't helping the matter any. What did you think of this one, Chris?
I liked it better when they did it on American Horror Story. I guess this is what this felt like, right? That was the first season of that goddamn show. A ghost trying to convince a wife that you're being cheated on. Wow. And then you murder your husband. Wow. Because you're possessed by the ghost. Man, Ryan Murphy, you shouldn't rip off Tales from the Darkside. I thought it was fine. I think actually of the episodes that we've talked about recently, this one I think is, again, it's proper mean at the end, which I appreciate. I think that the one with the little girl being drowned was proper mean, and I think it earns the meanness. I don't know. I just wish it wasn't so fucking obvious I wish it wasn't so obvious what the fucking episode was doing, more or less from the get-go. She was a big-time feminist. Okay, so the ghost is going to do something here. Remind me if anybody's ever like, there's a big feminist ghost in this house. Just be like, can I not live there? Because it seems like you know a lot more about the ghost than you should. And I don't want to be part of that. Not because I think a feminist ghost would kill me. Just because if you know that much about a ghost, that's a problem. It seems like the ghost is in fact real, which the ghost ends up being very fucking real. So I thought it was fine. Better than some of the blackout sketch-ish things we've had recently, because this is not a blackout sketch, at least.
How about you,
Mike? What about you?
I think you liked it more than I did. I just could see everything that was coming from the beginning. I was just like, oh, okay, so there's going to be a ghost. And, oh, yeah, it's gaslighting her and...
Ghost lighting her, Mike.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it just felt very, very familiar with this whole plot. And I actually was giving this episode more credit than it deserved, because I thought the ghost was actually played by the same actress that played the wife. Because a lot of times when you see the ghost, you're seeing her from the back in the rocking chair. So I'm like, oh, well, that's kind of clever. Keep her face a little bit hidden. And when they turn at the end and look at each other, it'll be the same person looking, would be like a mirror, be like poetry, it rhymes. But they didn't do that. It's a different woman. So I'm like, oh, okay. So the thing I thought you were going to do with the cool reveal, you just said, nah, not today. How
What about you, FM?
I liked this one. It just might be in comparison to the 3 previous ones we got. This one did feel more Tales from the Dark Side than not. However, did feel familiar, didn't it? That's because we trained in the trenches of Night Gallery. This does feel very Night Gallery. The ghost convincing you that there's cheating. There's plenty of those episodes, plenty of variations on it. The human who finds the ghost and the ghost wants him to kill her husband, and then there's the host. There were tons. Anyway, it feels like a tired genre, but it also feels with a good enough story they can do it. I don't know that this one is it. I do like seeing Laurie Cardilli. This Tales from the Dark Side seems a repository for Day of the Dead actors. We had Sherman Howard last season. Here, Laurie Cardilli also from Day of the Dead. I liked her performance. And I like the concept of the episode. I like the ambiguity of these episodes when they're done well, because baked into this is the fact that she's had some sort of breakdown and she's supposed to be taking her medication, and they make she is definitely not taking her medication. And
seen that before.
We've seen it tons of times, but here's Tales from the Dark Side. So I was waiting for them to go a little more hardcore on that. I guess Tales from the Dark Side, in the end, it's always going to be a supernatural ending. If this had been Tales from the Crypt, which I'm sure we got a couple of them in this on that too, it would definitely end the other way. I don't know.
I was hoping that, speaking of going harder, I was hoping maybe the husband had been gaslighting her and made her think that she was crazy, that she actually didn't have a breakdown, or he was giving her something to give her, make her unstable. I don't know, for some reason. And then the ghost is actually, no, like, I'm helping you out. Like, you don't know the real truth. And then the truth will come out through my actions. But no, that didn't happen either.
David Hayward, who I remember from the 90s being on Beverly Hills 90210. Yes, I watched Beverly Hills 90210. But he was also on Twilight Zone 85 on 2 separate episodes. Gentlemen, he was a reporter in A Saucer of Loneliness. That was with the Shelley Duvall episode. And
Richard Libertini.
Yeah, that's right. And he was Paul, the husband, in Dreams for Sale.
Oh, nice.
Dreams for sale. Gotta keep it alive. Gotta keep the memory alive.
And
that's right. He was the husband in fucking Dreams for Sale, wasn't he?
There was. All that.
Man, with the mustache too, even, I'm pretty sure.
Absolutely. And if fans of Christopher Guest, he made a non-mockumentary, non-improv movie called The Big Picture about a film student who's getting his big break at making a movie. And the art house movie that he wants to make features David Hayward. They keep cutting to that movie and that movie keeps changing as the film progresses and the studio keeps interfering.
Oh, that's so weird, because I just talked with, was it the screenwriter of that movie? Because I was like, oh gosh, I love The Big Picture. And yeah, I haven't thought about that in forever. And I just was thinking about it 2 days ago. So great pull.
Oh man. And Jennifer Jason Leigh in that the actual manic pixie dream girl.
Oh yes.
It's ghosty, this one. It's murdery. I like
the ending sure is.
And I like a murderous ghost. If she's a feminist or not. Here's the one thing I did notice. Ordinarily, in any of these ghost stories, what'll happen is the couple gets sold a bill of goods. They're sold the house, and then they find out afterwards that there was some sort of ghost situation here, and they have to track that real estate agent down and punch the information out of him. Here, this is a 3-bedroom. See, it's got 2 floors. Oh, there was a horrendous murder down here.
Oh yeah, check out these boards. Yeah.
Pretty sure
See, that's real blood. Real splattered blood. That's a bullet hole. The hole is still on the wall. They didn't even dig it out of the drywall.
Yeah, probably use if you got one of those metal detectors, go around the walls, see what else you dig up there. There might be some knives hidden here.
Maybe a couple safety razors that they put through the wall. Who knows?
Yeah.
So far, I'm really enjoying the beginnings and the endings of the episodes in Tales from the Dark Side this season. It's just what's hanging in the middle that's proving to be a problem.
This season has been, so far, pretty mediocre compared to the first 2 seasons. That's more my takeaway so far. This show has been very lackluster compared to the first 2 seasons being, I would say, rather quality all the way through. Like, I would say the first 2 seasons of this show have been pretty good overall. 3rd season, though, not starting out with a real fart underwater. Fart underwater.
I'm wondering if that has anything to do with Mitchell Galen's absence on the show, because he was the story editor for the first 2 seasons, and it's hard to put a price tag on the importance of that job when it comes to a fucking anthology show. It isn't like, oh, now we'll have our characters spend the day at the sub shop. No, we need beginnings, middles, and endings that are fucking great.
That people want to watch, that people enjoy. And I have not really enjoyed these 4 episodes. Maybe all things equal, if that's the only kind of big thing other than the involvement of George Romero, which that first episode of this season, not great in and of its own right. Maybe that had something to do with it. Because, yeah, man, I liked the ending and I liked the beginning. But, yeah, I guess the middle's not great. I don't know. I did like it more than you did, Mike, but I don't know. It's still not great compared to the first 2 seasons. None of these 4 episodes have been.
But season doesn't compare to any of the bad Night Gallery or...
Oh, no. These are just middle of the road. These are middling at best. They're not awful.
No, I haven't been, offended by any of these as far as how bad they are.
On the next episode of Midnight Viewing, we're going to be taking a look at the next 2 episodes of Season 3. Those are the Gießen Stacks and Black Widows. Midnight Viewing, the horror anthology podcast, is a proud member of Weirding Way Media Group, and our theme song was composed by HP with an assist by Donald Rubenstein. Until next time, what are you working on? Where can people find it, Chris Stashu?
Well, I've been too busy eating a whole stack of Gießens to be knowing what to do. Just Gießen Stacks, huh? What a fucking weird name. Thank you for saying it out loud. What am I doing? A whole lot of audio things over at weirdingwaymedia.com, other than one podcast, which can be found over at patreon.com/culturecast or patreon.com/projectionbooth, which is Rankin' on Bond, which Father Malone's going to be joining us here pretty soon to talk about another James Bond movie, another Timothy Dalton film, but we're chugging right along. We're going to have to figure out what we're doing next because, man, I think we're about 2/3 of the way done at this point. Feels like we've just been cruising right along through James Bond. And if you want to hear us now and when we started, patreon.com/culturecast or projection booth. What about you, Mike White?
Pretty much the same thing. All those great things, and then all the audio diversions that we do over at weirdingwaymedia.com, like The Life and Times of Captain Barney Miller, which also is about to wrap, but probably a lot sooner than Mr. Bond is because we haven't even started on those Daltons or Brosnans or what's the other guy's name? Greg Craig.
Gregnold Craig.
So we'll get there. We will definitely get there. And we might take some stops along the way to visit our old friend Johnny English as well. So fingers crossed. But yeah, everything is available at weirdingwaymedia.com. How about you, Father Malone?
As for me, what they said, but also head over to patreon.com/Father Malone, where you're going to get episodes early and commercial free and bonus content, which you can only get there. If money's tight, you could also do us a favor by giving us a 5-star review, subscribe, like, share, tell someone else. Thank you all for joining us here at Midnight Viewing. Until next time, try to enjoy the daylight.
Do you love movies? So do I. What's up, y'all? It's KB, and I love movies. Inviting you to listen to The Conversation, a film podcast where passion meets perspective and opinion. From the old school to the new, I invite a guest on to discuss the movies that thrill us, challenge us, break our hearts, or even blow our minds. There's always new episodes dropping wherever you get your podcasts. So join the conversation. We don't just watch movies. We love talking about them too. The Conversation with KB Loves Movies, a part of Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network.